We'll start with a quick overview of how you get from Rookwood to Bicentennial Park. Now I've turned on the cycling details on Google Maps and let's have a look at where we're going to start. So over here at the entrance to Rookwood Cemetery, we're starting here because the previous video in this series showed you how to get down the Cooks River to Rookwood, so we'll start from this point. You pop out from behind the noise barriers. You can see here we go down this street, we do a bit of a dog leg, go through this park. No, it's not the driving range, it's actually Airy Park. I'll go away. We get up to the railway line, we follow along the crescent, go over the bridge, pop over both Parramatta Road and the motorway. There's a set of lights at Parramatta Road and a bridge over the motorway. We go down Pomeroy, that takes us down to Powell's Creek, which is actually a concrete lined canal. But we'll follow that up to Bicentennial Park, and then there's a bit of loop-the-loopy stuff around Bicentennial Park to get to our final destination. Now once we get into Bicentennial Park and we're messing around in these paths, I'll show you a couple of different options you can take. One is you can take a path that will take you, out here towards Newington and over the bridge to Ryde, etc. if you want to go that way. Another way, of course, is to just go straight up here to go to Rhodes, etc. But what we're going to do is actually end up just over here in Concord West, where there's a couple of nice cafes you might want to try out if you need a coffee or a snack. Now, let's drill in and get down to the details. So we'll do this section by section. So here's Rookwood over here. We're going to pop out here at these noise barriers, and we'll get into the video in a minute on how this goes. We go straight down Mitchell Street, I think it is, and you can see there's a golf course on the left, so it's pretty easy to know you're on the right track. We go through a roundabout here, there's a church on the corner, we turn right, and then we immediately go left up here into Hampstead Road, and we peel off on this path and we go through Airy Park. Now that's a fairly straightforward path, it's nicely marked out. This will take us up to the crescent, go out here, turn right, go up through some pinch points, etc. to a roundabout, over this bridge, and then we're going down to Parramatta Road. Now, this road here, you can see it's a dead end, so there's this little green pathway we'll snake around. There's car dealers on all the corners, so you'll know you're in the right spot. Well, in fact, there's car dealers everywhere around here. It's probably not a good indicator of being in the right place. Go down the end, and as the green line says, we go left. What it doesn't show you is we go over this bridge, over the motorway here. And we'll see on the video how to find it. We go straight down Pomeroy Street, across Underwood, through this roundabout, and then down the end here we're going to pop off just past this Osgood depot. This is fairly obvious, you'll see it, and you'll also see the bridge, etc. as we're coming down. So we just pop off at one of the driveways, follow Powell's Creek. This is all kind of swamp, well it says wetlands, but I always call it a swamp. Down here, across, we go under Homebush Bay Drive, not across it, there's an underpass here, and then you can see once we get into Bicentennial Park there's no straight lines going anywhere, but we're going to follow this one around. We can't go across here because there's stairs at both ends of this bridge, so we're going to go around here, and we're going to end up just over here at, there's like a playground, public toilets, water fountain, etc. Well, in fact, we're not going to end up here. We're actually going to go under Homebush Bay Drive, and then we're actually also going to go underneath the railway line here. There's a tunnel, and we're going to pop out over here, and we'll have a look at a couple of cafes, in this area, and pretty much pull up in Victoria Avenue at a cafe here, and we'll see where we go. Now, just again to zoom out, you can see there's all sorts of paths you can take all over the place. So one of the options we're going to look at when we come around here is actually going down here to the Bennelong Parkway, and from there obviously you can, if you want to go time trialing or something, you can do a lap of Homebush. You could go up to the Armoury, which is quite interesting to look at, Wentworth Common, all these areas are very nice, but again they'll be covered in another video. Another way you could go is, instead of going across here, you could ride up to Rhodes, and along the foreshore here is really nice. Again, that'll be covered in another video. But anyway, let's give it a rest there and get into the video. As we pop out from behind the noise barriers, don't take the shiny new concrete path to your left unless you need to fill your water bottle. There's a water bubbler about 50 metres down the path, but instead take the crusty old path to Mitchell Road. This is the proper way, straight through the roundabout. Again, like we said at the intro, you've got the golf course on your left, that's pretty obvious, and a Ukrainian church coming up on your right. Don't get airborne on the speed bump outside the church. You will pick up some speed down here, so brake for the corner. You hang right into Arthur Street, and then immediately left into Hampstead Road. Go past the big daycare centre on your right, and then turn right into this path. Now, there's a couple of paths you can go in, but I always take this first one. You can use the daycare centre driveway if you want to, instead of using the pram ramp. Now, I don't like the dog leg across Arthur Street because the traffic can be pretty nasty along Arthur Street at times. You know, you've got lights off to the left and there's lots of cars moving around. So here's an alternative way. Instead of going straight through the roundabout, we hang right and then we go left into Pemberton Street. Pemberton Street is a fast downhill to another roundabout on Arthur Street. Here we just turn left and then immediately turn right into Hampstead. So, it's just going around the block essentially. The good thing about this alternative route is that it avoids a right-hand turn across Arthur Street. The bad thing about this route is that Pemberton Street can get busy and the traffic can be pretty fast moving. It can be quite intimidating and, get some silly overtakes. So, it's like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Choose your poison. I can see why, one street was chosen because it's quiet, but it does mean a painful, turn at the end. So, it's up to you which one you take. Now, watch out at these bollards as we go through Airy Park. It is a blind corner, but getting through Airy Park is just a matter of following the path. There's always pedestrians wandering around here near these bollards, and they've usually got their face in their phones and their brains in neutral, so take it easy and be prepared as you come around the corner. Now, at the end of Airy Park, the path narrows and it bends to cross a narrow drain. Just watch it because it is narrow for the next 100 metres or so. You go left straight after the bridge and you follow this lumpy kind of brick path to the crescent. If there's people walking along here, you'll have to jump off onto the grass. There's just not enough room for two people to pass each other. If you've got a mountain bike, you might want to consider jumping off the curb at any point onto the road along here, rather than going all the way up the end to the pram ramp. Now, the crescent is just one long uphill drag, and there's often cars or trucks parked along here on the left. This is one of the few times I've seen these parking spots empty. So you've got to be prepared to move out and take the lane. At the top of the hill there's a roundabout, but just before it there is one of these stupid road narrowing islands, and it's full of potholes. You'll need to find your route through the potholes. Again, be prepared to take the lane to prevent a stupidly close overtake at this point by impatient drivers, particularly around 3 p.m. at school pickup time. There is a school just around here. If that's not bad enough, there's yet another squeeze point with a speed bump just ahead. It's like the council engineers who built this really hated cyclists. Now, you've got to save a bit of gas in the tank to get out of the roundabout and onto the bridge over the railway line. The approach to the bridge is probably the steepest part of the climb, and I've seen people totally fade at this point and have problems. You will pick up speed coming off the bridge, but watch out for the raised pedestrian crossing on the other side. Pedestrians do cross here sometimes. You don't want to come barreling down the hill and take one out, but also really watch for drivers coming out from the left or right just as you come over the bridge without them giving way. If traffic on this road is heavy and they're stuck and they can't get out, you'll see them get really impatient and they'll just charge out in front of you. So, be careful coming off the bridge, particularly if it's busy. Now, as you approach Parramatta Road, look out for a driveway on the left that you can use to jump onto the path. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck behind a big queue of cars. Where you jump across usually depends on how long that queue of cars is. You might, sometimes it's actually better if there's no traffic to go up to the lights. And I know it says left turn and right turn, but you can just ride straight across. But if you get on the path, just watch out for cars entering and leaving the dealer on the corner, or pedestrians wandering around window shopping for a car. Now we cross Parramatta Road and there's just this short stretch of path to get into Hillcrest Street. You ride up to the Chi Junction and turn left, and then you look out for green noise barriers on your right. Now there's usually cars parked along here and you might have to hunt around for this gap. I actually got council to paint these white lines here to stop cars parking across it because people used to do that. You get onto this bridge, halfway across if you want, you can stop and laugh at the people driving underneath. Poor sods. Imagine being in that concrete tunnel. not seeing the air and, getting some sunshine, etc. Now, when you get off the bridge, just watch out for this bollardy thing, and have a good look to your left and right, because there's a blind bend to your left, and there's often cars parked on the right that block your sight lines down Pomeroy Street. Today there wasn't, but usually there is. We go down Pomeroy and we go straight through at the lights. Now just note that you need to stop exactly on these cut marks in order for the induction loops to detect your bike. Take your pick. I usually take the middle one, and because the left lane pinches out on the other side of the intersection, I take the right hand lane. Go down the hill, go through the roundabout, and then jump off at the second driveway. Now notice that I hit the driveway at about a 45-degree angle. There's enough of a lip here to throw you off if you hit it at a shallow angle, so don't do that and crash. The next bit is really just follow the path alongside Powell's Creek. It might look like a concrete sewer, but it's recently been beautified. It's not too bad, and it is a creek, honest. That's the Opal Tower over to your left. If it falls over, well, you definitely know you're in the right place. We've got another blind bend followed by another stupidly narrow bridge. We're all the bridge designers around here anorexics. You'll generally have to stop if there is someone coming the other way. The bend on the far side of the bridge is also blind thanks to all this vegetation, so watch it. Take it easy going into this underpass as it's usually very dark and there's no lighting, and your eyes probably won't adjust quickly enough to see anything on the path. I've seen tree trunks and burnt out motorbikes and all sorts of junk down here. Watch out for the bollard on the far side. Obviously watch out for pedestrians in the underpass. Now the slope on the far side of the bollard is deceptively steep, so be ready for it. Again, I've seen people just bomb out trying to get up it because they've chosen the wrong gear. The path then winds around this short section of creek, and like I said, we have to ride all the way around it because the first path you see has stairs on both ends. When you find the Opal Tower in front of you, you just turn right and follow the path. You'll notice these signs, the lettering on them is absolutely tiny, and you have to kind of get up and squint your eyes to see what's written on them. This path gets very busy when the weather is nice. This is a very popular area, so take it easy and be prepared to brake for families or kids who might be bumbling around rather unprofessionally on their bikes. Now, when you reach this main bridge, we've got two choices here. Now, normally I turn right here, but let's go straight ahead because this is the way to Newington and the Armoury and places like that. If you follow the path to these corrugated iron toilets and turn left, again, this path can be really busy, and what cyclists will often do is zip off into the car park here to get around the slower moving pedestrians and then just rejoin the path at the end. It was very quiet today. It was an absolutely miserable day, so I stuck to the path. Now, as you can see, it's been a long time since I took this path, and I got a bit lost and forgot where to go. And you might be wondering at this point, why am I doing these guides and why are you following me? Yeah, must do better next time. Anyway, this has led us up to the Bennelong Parkway, and if you cross over here, there's a bike path on the other side of the road. I think this is the best place to cross. It's not an easy crossing. There's often fast-moving traffic coming in each direction, so watch out. Like I said, there'll be an option at some point in the future going up here, in another video, but not today. So at this point, let's turn around and check out another option. Now, on the way back, I spotted this net contraption. I don't know if it shows up that well on the video, but this over the hoops there is a net, and I've got no idea what that's for. If anyone knows, we'll stick it in the comments. On the way back, I found I'd actually gone past the headquarters of Bicycle New South Wales, and I always forget they're out here. Should drop in and say hello one day. Because BayBUG is affiliated with Bicycle New South Wales, and they cover us with insurance for all our rides, etc., I'm going to give them a little plug at this point. We've had, personally, we've had family membership for years, and I think it's an absolute bargain. Now, I've never had to claim on the insurance, which you get as part of your membership, but I have been hit by drivers on 2 occasions, and since they were both found at fault, their insurance paid out. But there may be a day where I crash into something or someone, and it's expensive and it's my fault. No one's perfect, and I might have to claim on the Bicycle New South Wales insurance. So do yourself a favour, take out membership, and ensure you're riding around with insurance cover. And that way, if any bogan yells at you, "Oh, you don't have read your own insurance," you can say, "Ha ha, yes I do." Now, back to our bridge of options. If you've been riding for a while, I screwed up here. I meant to go back and then turn over the bridge going right, but yeah, whatever. This is another convenient spot. You can fill up your water bottle. That brick building over on your left is yet another toilet. If you need that, well, there you go. Now, once you've topped up, you can turn left and ride up to roads. Again, that'll be a future video. We're not doing that one today. So let's do a U-turn and go back and ride under Homebushbrook Driveway. And this puts us onto Victoria Road. I'll always turn left at the first stop sign because that makes it near impossible to miss the tunnel under the railway line. This is George Street and we turn right at the end into Station Avenue. Now, it's more of a laneway than an avenue. Anyway, at the end of the street, or the laneway, or the avenue, whatever it is, go straight across King Street into the tunnel, watching the bollards. The ramp at the far end is steep, so select a low gear to get out of here. You then turn right into Queen Street. There's 2 cafes here, plus the pub on the corner. Platform 82 seems to be very popular with groups that share enormous breakfasts. That seems to be their speciality. I've never tried it. Personally, I prefer the Love Life store and cafe. The owner is very friendly towards cyclists, and they do some great pies and coffee if that's your thing. That's a great place to sit outside and have a chat too. If that's not your thing, keep going and turn left at the pub into Victoria Avenue, and there's 2 more cafes along here. One used to be called Latte Chino, that's up the far end, but it changed hands and changed names, and I can never remember the new name. The other is 3 Spoons, and if you need some carbs, I can highly recommend the Thai fried rice at the moment. It's my current go-to refueling stop in this area. Now, this isn't a paid product placement, I just like the place. Please don't crowd it out though, because I can always get a table when I drop in. And when it comes to coffee, everything around here is pretty good. And that's where we're going to stop today, with a fried egg and some caffeine. Here's a link to a video showing how to get to Rookwood by riding along the Cooks River, and here's a link to a playlist of other guide videos. If you're interested in doing a ride with BayBUG, there is a link in the description. BayBUG runs regular Wednesday morning and weekend rides. Joining BayBUG is free, and riding with BayBUG is also free. Please note though that we currently cap the rides at 12 people. All rides are led by a trained ride leader, and no one gets left behind. During the ride, you're covered by insurance thanks to our affiliation with Bicycle New South Wales. If you want to join us for a ride, make sure you complete and send in the registration form in advance. That's so the ride leader knows who to contact if you do have a crash or something other like that. The rides are graded, so if you're unsure about your skills or fitness, choose an easy ride. Nobody cares what sort of bike you ride, unless it's a unicycle. They do have a bit of trouble keeping up. Nobody cares what clothes you choose to ride in, so long as you're wearing something, and it's also a good idea to wear some sunscreen in the warmer months. Some of these rides are led by people in their 70s, so don't worry about feeling a bit old and over the hill. It's never too late to jump on your bike and give it a go.